Hi guys, Scott here from Outlaw Garage. Today we're learning a new skill. We've been inspired by Dan from Car Culture and North Borders back in Melbourne, and we're going to try some manual photography. So we are the masters of point and click, the auto setting on a camera. So me, Dan and Len are heading off to some Instagram worthy spots in Dubai to see how many crappy photos we can take. Let's see how we go. Very proud of our ability to take photos with the auto, but this is a bit of a change. It's actually a really good view here. Sunset's coming in, looks brilliant. So what we will do as a bit of a change today is that once we've taken some photos, we'll probably just go back and edit them. We've started to use Lightroom. We've had some inspiration from Dan and the guys and a couple of guys from North Borders back in Melbourne. So we're trying to get a little bit better with our photographs. So we'll see how that kind of goes when we get back. So one of the tips is when you're doing car photography, get your car washed. Len's done a brilliant job on washing his. Porsche's a mess. It looks like the windscreen has got 1,000 flies died on it. I'm just hoping that it doesn't pick it up in the photos. I don't think it will, but it could have done with a bit of a wash. So tip number one, wash your cars before you go out on a photo shoot. It is a very popular spot down here for taking photos for Instagram. As you can see, Len has already hooked into an Instagram model. You can't leave him alone for 5 minutes. Joy of photography, Len's down there with his camera phone. He's just taken an absolute blinder of a photo. We'll stick it up on here. Me and Dan have been messing around with the cameras all day, and Len's took a blinder in about 5 seconds. So I think that's sunset kind of done. What happens later on in the evening when the sun goes completely down is the whole bridge lights up with blue LEDs. So what we're going to do is we're going to hang around and see if we can get some photos of that. It seems to be the Instagram car picture of Dubai. So we're going to take a look at that in a moment. So the lights have come on. See what I mean? It kind of gets all blue. It's lovely. So we're going to see what gem of a picture Len can pull out with his camera phone. And then I guess we'll go home because we'll be all done. Light's really coming down, so it's going to be interesting to see how the photos kind of come out. What editing we can do. If we have a photo that's any good, I tend to take about 500 and then have no good photos between us. So let's see how it ends up. So we've banged a lot of photos out, but I think what we're going to do now is we'll just let Len finish taking his, and then we will put the headlights on and see if we can take some more and see how they turn out. And there we have a 930. Take some shots now, mess around with the manual settings. No auto pressing this evening. Let's see what we get. So we're out and about in Dubai. We've been staring at this place as we wander down Sheikh Zayed Road for a little while now. It is a little bit hard to see, but you don't really see a lot of this kind of graffiti style art in Dubai. It's a little Chinese, Asian street food restaurant with some stuff outside. So what we've asked Len to do is pull the car round and see if we can get some shots here. Be interesting to see how they come out when we've kind of edited them. So this might be a bit of a try again and see how we end up. Well, we've loaded the pictures onto the Mac. We took about 173. I think we probably only got a handful of decent photos. So we're gonna go through them on the Mac now and see what we've done for filtering them. So let's take a look. As you can see on the photo, pretty dark around the car. It's got some sun flare on it. Let's see how we did with the filter. So we took the sun flare out and we've lightened up the picture. On the filters, it's always a good idea to just have a little bit of a play with the colour and the warmth and the exposure, just so that you can match it exactly to the picture. Filter probably gets you 90–95% of the way there, and then you just play with it a little bit. But really happy with that photo. Only thing that we might kind of do is that there are some spots on the road which are a little bit distracting. We might remove those through Photoshop or just here on Lightroom, but other than that, really chuffed to bits with the picture. Next one up, very similar photo to the last one, but the sun's set a little bit further down and we're a little bit lower down on the car. You can see the car's a lot darker. Used a different filter for this one to kind of make it look a little bit different. And it gives it more of a silverish kind of tone, but with the 930, the color of the car does very much shift in the sunlight. So I'm really happy with that as well. Very similar on this one as well. Used a slightly different filter again. This one probably isn't my favorite of the three. Might need toning down a little bit, but for our first efforts with Lightroom and manual settings, I think it looks great. I really do like the headlights on this one. So then we come to a picture of Len's Beetle, Burj Khalifa in the background. The only reason why we took this picture is because we saw Dan taking the same picture and it looks stunning on his camera. So always be prepared to pinch other people's ways of taking photos so that you can learn yourself as well. Give it more of a vintage kind of look, grade it out a little bit and put some more browns in it, but try to keep some of the blue in the Beetle. Very similar photo of the Beetle, but we wanted to use a different filter to kind of keep the sunset in and keep more of the color in the Beetle. And this is what we ended up with. Very vibrant. In this photo, we tried to get both cars in it on the bridge, try to capture some of the sunset. As you can see here, the camera settings taking the photo really kind of dark on the cars, and then on the filter we'll kind of have to brighten it up. And I think that came out really well. So this is where we started to struggle with the really nighttime photos, strong light from the bridge, and then being able to get a decent shot from that. I think what we've learned here is making sure that the ISO settings are right. We also missed the opportunity, because we always shoot in auto, we always shoot in JPEG. What we didn't do is we didn't change the camera settings to RAW. And as soon as you start editing these kind of photos in a JPEG, you can lose a lot of the photo quite quickly. So we are gonna have to go through our camera settings and set it to RAW for the future, just so that we can get a little bit better at this kind of thing. We tried to show the car a little bit more in a vintage kind of style. The color has changed a little bit on the bridge, but that's probably the best we got. We did take some of the light spots out of the sky. I think it's okay, but I think we'll be able to get a little bit better in the future. I've seen some people take like 3 different exposures, kind of map the photos together to get a better photo in these kind of situations. So I think we might try that in the future, but it might be a little bit behind our capability at the moment, but we'll give it a go. So we had one photo of the Beetle on the bridge with the blue lights on. This is a photo of the 930 on the bridge. Low settings, so when you first take the picture you can't really see the car, and you think like the kind of details lost. We then added a filter and really pulled the brightness up. I think probably what we can see on this, it's a little bit grainy, so our ISO might have been a little bit too high. What we pick up on the front of the car is the humidity. In the background here we do have a couple of people and a car, but then when we've edited it again in Photoshop, we've been able to remove the people, remove the car. I think if you zoom in you can kind of see where it is edited, but I think as soon as we stick that on Instagram, I don't think we'll kind of really see that. It is a little bit grainy. I think it's probably not a bad photo for us. I'm sure someone else could probably do a significantly better job, but first practice, pretty happy. On this photo, the only reason why we took it was because we've seen some people take more urban photos with cars next to bright lights just through the city. So we took this one and filtered it. I think probably what we learned from this, it would have been great if we hadn't had the brake lights on the Porsche. They're so bright and vibrant, and I don't know if it's our ability to use the software, but we haven't really been able to tone those down while still keeping the edginess to the city and the urban scape, and the lights on the car parking area. I think it might have been quite a nice photo if we just perhaps not had the lights on, but lesson learnt. Now, this is a picture from outside the Asian street food restaurant off Shakeside Road, kind of hidden away. Great location with the graffiti. It's a road that's not used very often, and with the neon signs, I think it looks great. The issue that we had with our camera and trying to take photos, and probably because, again, we were in JPEG and not in RAW, bit of a mistake there, was that trying to extract the car from the picture, give it the detail that it needed, whilst also trying to keep some detail in the neon sign and give it a kind of a feel. Probably not an ideal location for practicing, because there was a lot of detail that we needed to pick up. But this is the shot that we got of the Beetle, and this is it filtered. So I think we got the detail of the car. You can't quite make out the food sign, but you get the element of the neon and the kind of warmth and vintage styling of it. I think the photo does bring you to the car, although the background's quite busy. Again, better than we've ever really been able to do previously, so I really like the photo. So I think we'll try that again and try that with different kind of exposures and methods of photography as well. We did take a lot of photos in this location. On the left here, there's a hair salon, a load of bikes parked, which kind of took away from the theme of the photo. But I think this photo doesn't say Dubai other than the number plate. I'm really happy with it. This is the last photo that we kind of thought would get a good edit on it. So as you can see from the bottom of the screen, we didn't really get many out of the 173, but it was good practice for us. We've edited it, the photo, in a little bit. You can see up here Rachel's hair salon, which kind of distracts from the rest of the picture, I think. But then when we filter it, you lose the sign up here. We do get the Asian street food. It is legible, which I think is a good element to the picture. Headlights and the shine of the car comes up really well. And a nice close-up, I think. I think that looks pretty good compared to what we were dealing with in that situation, and definitely within our capabilities of photography. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. Clearly, we've got a lot to learn with photography. I think next time we need to get the camera set up in RAW mode, have a bit of a play with it from there. If you made it to the end of the video, our next video is about an F40, so stay tuned, everybody. Please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at Outlaw Garage 2013, and we'll see you very soon with a very cool video. See you later, guys. Bye.